What's up, fam? Extraordinary Life with Elijah. And today, Kailani is my extra, and I am the ordinary. I don't know if you're a parent and you've tried to clean your kid's face, you know what that's like. It's kind of like fighting a little ninja monkey on crack. And you have to get kind of creative in how you clean their faces. It has definitely become a principle of parenting for me on how to clean my kids' faces. I don't know if it works for yours or not. Pass along the insight. But when I first started parenting, I would just go in, grab their faces, and just start washing. And they're just pulling their face every which way and fighting and throwing their hands up. So you're holding their hands down on one side and grabbing their face on the other and trying to wash it. And they're just throwing their head everywhere. And it's just a fight every meal. And early on with Azriela, I thought I had gotten brilliant, and I wasn't. I was just violating her freedom and not being a good authority in her life. But I took her, I was trying to clean all this chocolate and stuff off her face, and so I'd put her in her car seat, put the little rolled up head protector over the top of her head so she couldn't turn her head side to side, wrapped her up with a blanket so she couldn't move her arms, and her head was just completely held, and she's trying to fight it, and she's just like crying and yelling and trying to move her face to get it out of the way, and I'm just like washing her face. Ha ha ha, I win, I finally controlled you. And now I can wash your face without you throwing your head all over the place. And while I was doing that, which just sounds so dumb now, so dumb. In the midst of that, God asked me, "You're pretty proud of yourself, aren't you?" And I was like, yeah, I'm amazing. I figured it out. We're going to be doing this at every meal. And he asked me, "Do I do that with you?" That pulled me up, and I said, "No, you don't." It's like, "You should take your daughter out of the car seat and stop that right now," which I did, and I repented, said I will never do that again, hugged her and prayed, broke that off, blessed her. The things we do as parents. But in the midst of it, he invited me into a new way of washing my little girls' faces, and now my son's. I started asking him, "Well, how would you wash my daughter's face?" And he had ideas, started giving them to me. As we talked about it, he started telling me about how gentleness is the best way to wash your child's face. So as I would wash Azriela's face, I would just wash gently. I wouldn't press in harder, but I wouldn't pull away and say, "Stop moving." I would just stay. And as she moved her face around and fought back, I would press in hard enough so that I wouldn't lose contact with her face. And I would press in hard enough as well so that as she pushed back against my hand, that she wouldn't push me away. She'd put her little hands on my hands and try to push my hand away, and I would just stay. I'd increase my pressure so that she couldn't move my hand away, but then as she stopped pushing, I would release. But there was always a manifest testimony on her face of gentleness. I've done the same thing with Kailani with more wisdom and more insight, and it's increased more and more. Not only can I wash her face and have her not pull away and fight me, that I can just gently wash her face and have a conversation with her, and she smiles, and it's very pleasant. It's fun to engage as I'm washing the food off her face. That I can also dig little boogies out of her nose without her fighting her head all over the place. I just say, "Gentle, gentle, gentle, gentle," and invite her into the vision of what it is that I'm attempting to accomplish. And I always show her her little boogies when we get them out. It's been so instructive to me about gentleness. In the world, the principles of the world and psychology, all the major professionals of the world will tell you that as humans, we have two responses: fight or flight. that we either will fight back against people who are attacking us or attempting to take our things, or we'll flee from them out of fear. Both of those things are an either or dichotomy based in the wisdom of the world that leads to disconnection, that leads to sustained dysfunction and fear. What I've found out of a result of lots of experiences in my life, but I think specifically the laboratory of gentleness with my little girls, is that gentleness is the coalescence, the combined reality of the two reactions of fight and flight. In Genesis, out of the promise that God gives to Abraham, he says, "I am your shield, your very great reward." Out of that reality of God's role in our life, as God being our shield, I don't have to flee from those who would attack me because God is my protection. He is my shield. So I don't have to run because you can't attack me because God is protecting me. And likewise, I don't have to attack those who come against me, those who fight against me. I don't have to jump across the line to attack those who threaten me because I don't have to take their life or their reputation or their position. I don't have to take anything because God is my very great reward. So I have all that I need. Out of that aspect of God in my life, of him being my shield and my very great reward, I neither have to flee from nor fight my enemies. I can just remain gentle and stay connected to whoever it is that I'm confronting. Out of all of these adventures, there was this reality that came, which I thought I would just read to you. It's a little bit more complex than my brain can hold on to just say to you. As gentleness is the action of confrontation, the courageous warfare waged by authority at the front lines of appropriate boundaries, advocating for just needs, while also refusing to violate the freedom of others through violence by demanding their lives in slavery under a dictatorship of selfish wants. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. As I look back to Azriela and my initial reaction to her fighting against me to clean her face, I find that my root goal was one of control. I didn't really care about getting her face cleaned as much as I cared about her not fighting me and letting me do what I wanted to do. There was stuff on her face. I needed to get it off, and her fighting against me was frustrating to me. So I tied her down, I wrapped her up, and I considered that I had won and that I was genius because I had completely constrained her within my will, with what I wanted to do. And so that is an improper use of author ability. It was chaining Azriela into the slavery under my dictatorship to see what I wanted done accomplished. That was a violation. It was a violation of freedom and my author ability. It was not good fathering of my daughter. God was absolutely right. Gentleness is the way forward. But as I engaged Azriela, and now I've engaged Kailani, and it's gone to the whole next level, that the gentleness is the appropriate use of force in maintaining connection through gentleness. So as the girls push back to push me away with their hands or their face, I increase pressure to keep my hand there so they can't push me away. But as soon as they let up with their hands, they stop pushing, I let up with my pressure, and it goes very flaccid, very gentle. But the maintained testimony in their person is that Daddy is a gentle man. You can't have the increased testimony of gentleness outside of connection. I could very well be very gentle, but without a consistent, longitudinal connection in relationship with other people, so that there's pressure, there's connection right here at the point of connection. Without that connection, over time, consistently releasing a testimony of the appropriate use of force that values connection, you can't know if I'm a gentle person or not. I could be very gentle, but if I'm not connected with you, there's no testimony of gentleness. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. Starts getting all wrapped up together, hopefully. Because God is our shield and He's our very great reward. He's near. He's the sufficiency. He's the supply of my life. He's my reward. But He's also my shield, protecting me. Never leaves me, never forsakes me. The Lord is always near. What that empowers me to do is to allow my gentleness to be evident to all. I can be connected to everyone. And that regardless of whether they're attacking me or running from me, I can use the freedom of my life in an appropriate manner that honors connection, shows that it values it. And when people are fighting back against me, that I can increase the amount of pressure that I have so that they can't push me away. And likewise, if they run from me, that they're afraid, that they've been wounded, I can pursue in an appropriate manner that also maintains connection. I think the benefit of that in this time period is that it has the ability to stand at the line of appropriate boundaries and to advocate for very real needs, very legitimate needs, without either jumping across the line in fight or fleeing from the line in flight, and maintaining relational connection. I'm gonna let that just stay right there. You can apply it how you will. I have continued to apply it in how I clean my little girls' faces. Now it's when it's time to wash up faces, there's a very real and legitimate need. There's stuff all over my girls' faces. There's boogers that are hanging out of their noses that need to be dug out, that they can't blow out. And so we've got to get the boogies. We've got to probe that situation and pull it out. But I think the beautiful thing about now at the end of meal times or bath times or changing diapers or digging boogers out, I think the beautiful thing about letting my gentleness be evident to my little girls is that now in those times where we have to truly address legitimate needs, it gets to be times of fun connection. We have lots of fun little games that we play, and they enjoy the process of getting their faces wiped. There's lots of laughter. There's lots of relational increase and strengthening in those times, rather than grabbing someone, strapping them down with force, incapacitating them, and then releasing what you want to their life and they can't resist it. That's good. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. I'm going to read it one more time. Gentleness is the action of confrontation, the courageous warfare waged by authority at the front lines of appropriate boundaries, advocating for just needs, while also refusing to violate the freedom of others through violence by demanding their lives in slavery under a dictatorship of selfish wants. If you subscribe to what I'm doing, hit the button. Hit it and then get it. Hit the bell as well so you get notified with the new content. And if you love this video, you didn't just like it, hit the thumbs down button. Pray blessings on your day. I love you guys lots, and I'll see you in the next video.